Okay, now firstly you have to subscribe my channel, right? And this question, problem of the day question, this is the hard problem. Minimum cost to convert string second, right? So question is saying you are given two zero index string, source and target. Okay, those string भी रखे source and target, and both of length n and consisting of lowercase English characters, and you are also given two zero index array original and change, and an integer array cost where cost I represent the cost of converting the string original I to the string change I, right? And you start with the string source in one operation, and you can pick a substring x from the string, okay, and change it to y at the cost of z, right? And if there exists any index j such that cost j is equal to z, and original array j is equal to x and changed array j is equal to y, okay, and you are allowed to do any number of operation, but any pair operation must be satisfy either of these two conditions. अब ये condition दे रखी है, right? Condition कह लो या operation. The substring picked in the operation are source a to b and source c to d with either b less than c or d less than a. In other words, the indices picked in both operation as disjoint. Okay, disjoint हो गया. The substring picked in the operation are source a to b and c to d with a is equals to c and b is equals to d. In other words, they are picked in both operation are identical. Okay, return the minimum cost to convert the string source to the string target using any number of operation if it is possible to convert source to target. Return -1. Okay, मतलब रिटर्न -1 कर देंगे, राइट? नोट दैट देयर मे बी एग्जिस्ट आई जे सच दैट ओरिजिनल जे इज इक्वल्स टू ओरिजिनल आई एंड चेंज जे इज इक्वल्स टू चेंज आई. ओके, एंड दिस इज द एग्जांपल्स, राइट? So how we will do approach, right? Okay. Oh, if I think like if I go to the tree approach, if I do like ट्री अप्रोच की हम ट्री लगा दे इसके अंदर. 1 second guys. Like firstly, if I do the introduction, so we are going to the this dynamic problem, right, where we need to find the minimum cost to transfer substrings of source into corresponding substring of target, right? So firstly we have to think about makes this problem complex, right? So we can transfer substring of any length, not just single character, right? And then we do like the same substring transformation might have multiple cost, we want the minimum, right? And transformation can be changed. We might transform a to b and then b to c, right? And to handle substring transformation efficiently, we can use try data structure, right? Because like try data structure, we have to allow like store all possible transformation string original and change, right? And then we assign a unique integer id to each distinct string, okay, and then we do quickly check if a substring exists in our transformation rule while traversing the source string, right? Like if we need to handle transitive transformation, right? If we can transform string a to b with cost x and b to c with cost y, and then we can transform a to c with cost x plus y, because this is the shortest path problem between all pairs of strings, right? So we can model this is a as a graph, right? And in the graph, like each unique string in original and change is a node, right? And each transformation rule is a directed edge with its cost as weight. And we can use Floyd-Warshall algorithm to find the minimum cost between any two strings, right? If you have any doubt, Floyd-Warshall, check my previous video yesterday, right? And then we need to decide how to apply transformation to convert source to target, right? So we can use memoized recursion with the following approach, right? So like at each position, if we go at each position in this string, we have choices. If source I equals to target I, so we can skip this position without any cost, right? We can try to transform a substring starting at position I, and for each possible substring source I to j, check if both source I to j and target array I to j exist in our try, right? If they do, the cost g, like gid source and id target from Floyd Warser plus the cost of transforming the rest of the string dfs j plus I j plus 1, right? So we take among all valid choices, and after that the memoization ensures we don't recalculate the same subproblem, making the solution efficient, right? So how do we like approach the solution, right? So the solution consists three components, right? Firstly, building a tree for strings mapping and computing shortest path using Floyd Warshall, and finding the minimum cost using memoized recursion, right? So firstly we use building the tree and string mapping, right? So like we create a tree to store all unique string from original and change array, right? And each string get a unique integer identifier. And then second we use to building the cost graph. So firstly, in this, we initialize a 2D array G, where Gi and J represent the minimum cost to transform strings with ID I to string with ID J, right? And then we go into the Floyd-Warshall algorithm. So we compute the shortest path between all pairs of strings to handle transitive transformation, right? And then we go to fourth, in memoized recursion, right? Where the function dfs I compute the minimum cost to transform source I to target I, right? And then we go to the in this last step where we go answer equal to dfs 0 कर देंगे and return -1 कर देंगे, right? If algorithm return -1, so if transformation is possible, cost remains INF, otherwise returns the minimum cost, right? And time complexity big O n, and space complexity big O n square, right? Let's do the code, guys. Firstly, you have to do the code. So 1 second. Let me zoom. Yeah, now it is clear. So firstly we have to node, right? So 1 second, class node. So node children equals to new node 26, right? New node is 26 because array to store child nodes for each letter A to Z, right? And then int node id is equals to -1. This is like id assigned to this node if it is represent end of a string, right? This is like class solution public. We have to do private, right? So private static final long infinity equals to 1l less than 60. This is like large value representing infinity, right? And another private node try root equals to new node. This is like root of tree data structure, right? And then we do private int node id counter, right? This is like for counter for assigning unique IDs to try nodes. Private long cost matrix. This is Floyd Warshall shortest path matrix, right? Then private character source chars, right? Source string as a character array, right? Private this is like target string as a character array. Oh yeah, memoization, dp memoization array for like minimum cost, right? पब्लिक लॉन्ग int cost तक तो हो ही गया. So first we have integer num transformating is equals to cost dot length, right? And then we have to initialize cost matrix with maximum possible nodes 2 into number of transformation कर देंगे. So you have to write cost matrix is equals to new long, one second guys, new long term transfer, right? And we have to do now source, one second guys, source chars equals to source and then we have to do Initialize like cost matrix with infinity exceptional diagonal cost to self zero, right? So we have to loop for int I is equals to 0 I cost matrix not length plus I arrays like arrays dot fill cost matrix कर देंगे cost matrix I infinity. Now we have to build, try and populate initial cost for direct transformation, right? 1 second. So for int I is equals to 0 I less than transformation in from is to insert to try original I, right? Original I कर दिया and then we like int to node id is equals to insert into tree this is what we done, right? So now after like keep minimum cost if multiple transformation exist, right? So transformation exists to cost matrix from node id to node id, right? As to math dot min कर देंगे min then we do like cost matrix from node id to node id, right? Okay. To node id to like then node id तो कर दिया cost i भी कर देते हैं cost i, right? And now we'll use Floyd Warshall algorithm, right? So we have to for int I int no I know intermediate int is equals to 0 intermediate node id counter plus intermediate and like for int from equals to 0 from node id counter, right? Counter plus from 1 second what is intermediate Okay. No, there is error. Right. And now this like skip if no path through intermediate node, right? So if cost matrix from intermediate infinity continue करते हैं, right? Yes. Then loop for int 2 is equals to 0 and 2 node id counter plus 2, right? Post matrix from 2 is equals to math dot min cost matrix from n2, right? Then cost matrix, one second, cost matrix from intermediate plus cost matrix intermediate into. After that we have to initialize memoization, right? Array and compute result using DFS. So memoization is equals to like new long source chars dot length, one second, length long result to compute minimum cost 0, then return result infinity -1 result. After that, like we have to do like insert a word into the tree and returns its node id, right? So we have to do right private int कर देते हैं एक और के लिए. So one second guys, private int insert into tree string word ले लेते हैं and node current node कर देते हैं. Node current node is try node root, right? And then we do traverse path into try for the word, right? So for like care to word not to index character if current node children next to null, and then we do like current node नोड चिल्ड्रन कर देते हैं इंडेक्स टू न्यू नोड राइट. Then we do assign a unique ID to the end node if not already assigned, right? So if current node dot node ID less than 0, so current dot node ID then we do return. And now like DFS with memoization to find the minimum cost to transform source to target starting from position, right? Starting from position I, right? So let's do comment private long compute minimum cost as in position. So we have to base case reach end of a string. So if right, if like if position कर देंगे और हम position greater than equals to source character length कर देते हैं, so return 0 हो जाए, right? And then we like return memo as result if available. So if memoization position first equals to null, so return memoization position, right? And then like firstly we have to option like first option is like if character match skip transformation, and second option like try all possible substring transformation string at position, right? we return तो कर दिया. Like first option so long minimum cost is equals to 1 second source characters position target gets position compute minimum cost infinity हो गया. एंड ऑप्शन 2 में था लाइक कि ऑल पॉसिबल सबस्ट्रिंग ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन करना है, सो नोड source node is equals to try root root ओके ये तो कर दिया 1 सेकेंड टारगेट के अंदर नोड भी तो आएगा ये कर दिया then iterating a loop right for in and position is equals to position and end less than source chars dot length plus and position like 1 सेकेंड ट्रेवर्स कर देते हैं राइट ट्रेवर्स बोथ ट्राई साइमल्टेनियसली राइट ये भाई वर्ड ही नहीं बोला जाता सोर्स नॉट इक्वल्स टू सोर्स नॉट डॉट चिल्ड्रन एंड पोजीशन माइनस माइनस ए हो जाएगा टारगेट नोड इज इक्वल्स टू target not dot children target cares एंड पोजीशन इसका भी माइनस ए ही कर देंगे अब if stop if either path doesn't exist right so if source node null हो जाएगा ना equals to null तो टारगेट नोड null so break right and like then we'll do skip if not complete words in try right so if source node dot node id to 0 target node dot node id less than 0 then we do continue and now we like check if transformation exists and update minimum cost so long transformation cost is equals to cost matrix source node dot node id right and target node if transformation cost less than infinity so minimum cost हो जाएगी equal to math dot minimum and min cost and transform 1 second transformation cost plus compute मिनिमम कॉस्ट कर देंगे एंड पोजीशन +1 हो जाएगी. नाउ वी डू हैव टू रिटर्न. तो मेमोराइज कर देंगे, रिजल्ट रिटर्न कर देंगे, राइट. सो मेमोराइजेशन पोजीशन is equals to minimum cost एंड रिटर्न कर देंगे. Right, let's see, run the code. Error 104. A long transformation cost is equals to cost matrix, right? Source like comma लगा दिया पर. Let's see. 106. Okay. Now we can see 21, 27. Right, here we go. So like here we go to error nums transformations, constraint transformation, right? You have to run. Still the what was the error? const matrix न्यू लॉन्ग हो गया, num transformations हो गया, is less than 1 और num transformation. How can you say that? Like, oh, 1 second, transformating, here you go, transformation, right? Cost dot length. Now we have seen 27. What was array dot fill? cost matrix भी हो गया, I and infinity. यार यहाँ पर क्या है दिक्कत? ऊपर ही cost matrix dot length प्लस I ठीक है. cost matrix I0 like infinity. fill cost matrix I, right? Infinity. Oh, 1 second, here we go. Char is beget. Still cost matrix. arrays डॉट फिल तो है यार, ये दिखा रहा है इन्फिनिटी में. इन्फिनिटी में आई तो है. व्हाट फॉर देयर आई डोंट नो. और int I is equals to 0. cost मैट्रिक्स हो, डॉट लेंथ भी हो गया. आई है मैट्रिक्स आई है 0. यार सब तो सही है. और ये दिखा रहा है एरर. दूसरा चेक करते हैं. arrays dot fill cost matrix I Okay, and how can this infinity? I don't understand. Like, is like here we go. I have to mistake infinity, right? 39 fluid water intermediate is equals to 0. Intermediate less than node I counter. Okay, I don't understand. Like for int हो गया, अब intermediate डाला हमने, right? Is equals to 0 कर दिया. Then another we have to do intermediate, right? और less than node id counter कर दिया. But then we have to, I don't know. He says node, right? But how the node id counter is right? Is like C small. 1 second, guys. No, no. 1 second, guys. I have to copy, right? Right. Now we have to do the paste, right? We have to like node is like this simple. Let's see. Now it's running, right? Accepted और हो जा भाई. Yes, right. So this was the question, right, guys? So you can understand. So subscribe my channel, right?